Hello everyone, it's Tracy Newman from the Navigator's Tarot, who is here to do a Divine Feminine reading. At the moment, it's a beautiful day here, no clouds in the sky, lovely blue sky, lovely winter day. And due to a death in the family, I won't be doing any lives this week, but maybe next week, maybe Thursday next week, I'll see how I go. But I'll let you all know. I do it lives through Instagram, so through Sleepy, is it? No, not Sleepy Wisdom, the Navigator's Tarot on Insta. Okay, feminine, beautiful divine feminine energies. Ooh, very sylph-like, very fairy-like, very lovely energies, beautiful light, bright energies, the Queen of Water, also mermaid energies. I'm getting a very magical sort of energy coming through for the divine masculine, divine feminine this week. Beautiful, really beginning, oh, and the scarab, really beginning to step into her power, even though she needs rest. A lot of divine feminines I know right at this point in time are resting, and it is needed because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, she's being asked to rest and to lay down her burdens for this week and step into those magical energies of the elemental realm, if she can at all. And also too, it's really interesting because in the same, well, we've got the Queen of Fire upside down, but I will say that the Queen of Fire upside down is saying, if you do not rest, you're going to lose your passion, you're going to lose life force, pretty much energy. That it's just going to be thrown out to the wind because you're needing to conserve that energy within. Because we're in this integration period, plus we're also in the balancing out of both divine masculine and divine feminine energies. But because of a lot of us have done a lot of battle work on different planes, that work is now changing, coming to an end, and our direction is also changing, and the divine feminines are also changing their direction as well on a spiritual level. And a lot of us are becoming, are getting a lot of downloads and a lot of different things coming from the ethers, and also within ourselves, and we're beginning to really see that through rest we can connect to the divine in a much more like surrendering and giving way, because at the moment she's just too tired to do anything else. But the cards here are saying to go within, and also to rest as much as she possibly can, because we're going to be stepping into these new earth energies that are really beginning to take effect. And even though a lot of the old world is crumbling, there definitely is a split and has been a split, and it's becoming wider and wider every day. And so because of that, we are now moving into the grace of God, Goddess, and moving into these energies that are requiring us to surrender, let go, and let God. As we do that, then a lot of the clearing begins, and then when that is over, then a lot of course, the downloads are also beginning to take shape and form, as I said, within our cellular structure, and coming out through that, through our heart center, and into the world space, where we can bring our downloads and instruction sets onto this new earth plane. If you can at all possible, there's been a lot of work done on the dragon lines too, as I've said before in the past, and a lot of dragons are actually coming up. There are many forms of different dragons. Elena Denan talks about them on her YouTube channel, about the different types of dragons that are on the earth, and the ones that are within each and every single one of us, like the meridian lines on the earth plane, but also because we have our own meridian lines, we have our own dragons that we can access at any point in time. And I've had to work with dragons over the years at different points. So the lines of the dragon, and I know that there are a lot of feminines in particular who have worked with dragons to do the work that has to be done to transform the old energies into these newer ways of being. Yeah, so what I'm getting here is that she's also beginning to integrate both the masculine and the feminine within, and also too, I'm really getting a sense of tapping into the elemental realm and the realm of fairy, the realm of sylph, air, or those beautiful elementals that represent air, water, and earth and fire, and accessing those magical type of energies. Going down to power places is a way to do it. Having a fire in your backyard, and also being in your garden are also ways of accessing those elemental energies. And it will help to ground us, because at the moment I think the feminine is feeling a little ungrounded, because she is so tired because of the work that we've had to do. Because not only have we transmuted darkness into light through our physical form, our emotional bodies and our psychological bodies, but we've also, because we're so connected to the earth plane, we've also been healing on the earth plane, and also on a galactic level for a lot of us as well. Yeah, so they're the energies. And also I'm just going to pull, because I did this for the masculine reading, I'm going to pull a Fairy Oracle card. These beautiful cards. And yeah, we'll pull one. This is the Fairies Oracle by Brian Froud, and they're beautiful cards. I haven't used them for ages, but for some reason I got the call to use them today, so I'm going to. And it's actually very apt, because it's the Fairies Oracle and it's all about the elementals. So there seems to be a lot of that, the merging of those energies too. And maybe it's the merging of those worlds as we move into a completely different frequency band. Okay. For the feminine, have you got a card for the feminine? Oh, that's gnome. 26. 26. Oh, that gnome. Trickster. Ooh, creative chaos, wild gifts, breaking habits and patterns. You know what's really interesting about this? Because of the fact that we are coming into balance, it is on an outer level. We actually are seeing, as the world starts to crumble and fall, a lot of chaos. But what I'm getting from this card is that what we are actually seeing is not really what is going on. So that's that trickster energy, and that's the thing that we must actually start to recognize. Anyway, I shall read it. We'll see what happens. This is the trickster who exists in every world. He comes to us wearing our own faces to fool us into thinking that his ideas are our own. He brings creative chaos into our lives. He helps us break down old habits by showing us how silly they are. He encourages us to fall on our faces so that we get a different point of view, looking up past our mud-smeared noses. He helps us get ourselves into situations in which we discover gifts we never knew we had, often because there is no other way out of the mess we got ourselves into. And I will also say, on a outer world structure, what we are seeing and who we think is in charge and what we actually believe is going to happen may not be the case. So it's an illusion. A lot of what we are seeing is not, we're being tricked, but we're being tricked because As it says, there's no other way out of this mess. There's no other way of being able to awaken some people who really, really refuse to awaken. And so this is the trickster energy that's going on in our outer world. As Brian mentions, that gnome is unreliable and sometimes encourages drunkenness. This is true. He certainly doesn't always do as we expect, but our expectations are our problem, not his, he says. As for drunkenness in vino veritas, in wine, there is truth. When we let down our mental senses and filters, we sometimes come up with discoveries about who we really are and what we really want that we hadn't let ourselves know. When he appears, it is breakthrough time. And all too often, the first step in breakthrough feels just like breakdown. There are better ways of doing this than getting drunk or going through a psychotic break. But the better ways take skill, and he has to work with what he has, us, just as we are. So the gnome tells wild and wonderful long-winded stories, complete with demonstrations of the action and much arm waving. An online group member says, he adds, that gnome is full of knowledge, but the trick is sorting out the truth from the fiction. It takes a lot of good sense to be able to listen to him. He isn't known for his patience. And I would also say too, that in our surrender, we are actually allowing that which no longer serves us to be removed so that something better can come in, as I've said with the downloads and everything else. So it's time to leap into the air, letting the earth turn beneath you and discover where you come down again. Reasonable risks are okay, even unreasonable risks are probably okay. Use your head and look before you leap, of course, but do so understanding that the actual jump is likely to be very rewarding. No guarantees, but then there never really are anyway, no matter how pretty the paper they may seem to be printed on and the scroll work around the edge. In a reading, the presence of that gnome tells us that the forces of chaos are at work. Things may not be as they seem, and this may very well be a good thing. Look for the unexpected, find the opportunity in it, and go for it. He says that no matter how confused things may seem, there is a way to make them better, but it is a creative way, one you haven't tried before. He thinks. He says, think amazing new thoughts. And to do that, it's best to allow, as you know, we step into that feminine allowing. So yes, everything that you are seeing or feeling within yourself that may be a little bit chaotic, it's not everything. It is a breaking down of the old world structure so that something new can come in. And what we're seeing is not really what is really going on. I also feel like too, for the feminine in this way, as we begin to really go within and let go, let God and surrender, because pretty much we're just too tired to do anything else, that is when the creative force comes in and takes over and then allows us to align to something that is going to be so much greater than we could ever imagine. And that is when those downloads come in, and that is when we get those beautiful creative new thoughts. So yeah, so that's pretty much what's going on with the feminine this week. So we'll see you again next week.